Warning, this video contains massive spoilers for the following content. If you do not wish to have anything spoiled for you, please stop the video now and come back when you're ready. Thank you. With all that said, let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cinema Review Avenue on the Queen City Circle channel. I am your host, Jacob. Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. If not, hopefully this video will make it a little bit better. Maybe it won't. Who knows? However, please watch it. Joining me today are my co-host, Lilith.
I cried today.
Same. Lance.
How's it going, y'all?
And Logan from the Suio2 Twitch Gaming channel.
I love Lance.
Today we will be reviewing and discussing Marvel's What If Episode 2. A heck of a lot better. No, that's not the name. Marvel's What If Episode 2. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? So be sure to
an
leave...
episode was good.
Right, exactly. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. With all that said, let's relax, let's sit back, and let's get into it. Right off the bat. It's going to be my famous saying. I'm going to make a t-shirt of it. This episode was a billion times better than that piece of garbage they tried to shove down our throats in the first one. The plot of this one, we follow, instead of Peter Quill becoming Star-Lord, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Well, as we learn, he's definitely way more famous than Peter Quill, what he dreams to be. Everybody loves some T'Challa Star-Lord. So much so that even enemies in the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie see him as pretty much an idol. A majority of the events unfold similarly in the very beginning of the first Guardians movie. After that, it's a major derailment. We have returning characters in this one, like Yondu, and other Ravagers. And the Ravagers are no longer space pirates. T'Challa has somehow managed to change the entire landscape and mentality of the Ravagers to be a Robin Hood-esque band of steal from the rich to give to the poor. And I love that aspect. Other returning characters we get in this are also Nebula, Drax, Taserface, Yondu's sidekick, who I cannot remember the name of, the Collector, Howard the Duck, the Space Dog, the Russian Space Dog, T'Challa's father, the Black Order, and Thanos? What? They all band up and they go to steal this magical plant that can pretty much create any type of plant on a dying world to save this world from the Collector. They do a triple cross, double cross. T'Challa fights the Collector. T'Challa fights the Black Order. There's some good action. Just overall, this one was just fantastic. The plot for this, I loved every bit of it. The fact that the Ravagers were good guys. Thanos is in this. Like, Thanos, the one who was totally set on mass genocide, was able to be talked down by Black Panther himself. So that lets us all know, if Black Panther maybe had got 5 minutes to sit down with Thanos in Infinity War, maybe Thanos would have changed his mind, like he did in this show. And he ends up helping him. Nebula returns, and there's kind of a little bit of a better relationship there. They still kind of hate each other, but not near as much. And she's also not near as tore up, because T'Challa was able to get to Thanos before he could really turn her from organic life to robotic life. I did like Drax returning in this, and the little hint that because T'Challa was Star-Lord, they ended up saving his homeworld from a Kree invasion, so his wife and daughter got to live. Fantastic. The little changes that they made, like Yondu's teeth, are all there, nice, clean, and so are his sidekicks, because T'Challa knows how to execute plans and made sure that his teeth never got knocked out. The Collector must have learned CrossFit in this universe, because my gosh, I know Benicio del Toro is a super attractive guy in my mind. I like him, but he didn't look like Thor, and they made him look like Thor in this one, and his collection is massive. He has Captain America's shield, Mjolnir, and even Hela's headpiece. How powerful is this guy? I did like the whole exchange of the reason that started this whole universe was, instead of Yondu going down to find Peter Quill, he sent his like crew, and they ended up detecting major radiation, or magical signals from the vibranium in Wakanda, and T'Challa just happened to be outside the border, and they caught him instead, and Yondu was like, you know what, screw Peter Quill, let's just take this kid and enjoy the galaxy.
Screw his dad.
Right, screw his
He's a
dad.
dick anyway.
Which, by the way, spoiler, his dad shows up. The Ego shows up, and Star-Lord, Peter Quill, is working at Dairy Queen. And I like how Jeffrey Wright says, what a family reunion, even though this might spell the end of the entire world, because, the Guardians are no longer there to save him. But the plot of this one, so much better, and I did not feel like a character was their code was changed to service a new story. I felt like these were all these characters just like tweaked a tad bit, because we kept getting references to Yondu's anger and his wanting to rob. The whole show we got references to Thanos going, yeah, my plan was good and efficient, but I'm a reasonable man, I liked how the Black Order showed up, and Thanos got to fight the Black Order. That was tight. Me and Lance were talking before we came on camera. We both agree we were disappointed that Thanos kind of got his butt kicked hard in this one.
He's a mad titan. He's kind of picked the Black Order to kind of serve him. He can own all of them if he wanted to, and they kind of made him out like, oh, I'm just little Thanos here. I'm like, no, you're the Mad Titan. In a whole nother reality, you held a glove with stones on it that pretty much made you completely omnipotent.
Yep.
And then you get in the crap on him in this one, but I'll get to that when my turn comes around.
It wasn't so disserviceable, but I kind of would have I wanted to see, the Thanos that was able to take on half the Avengers and by sheer luck get beaten down. But, for the minute issue, which that being the only one I can think of, this should have been the episode they led with, because it was phenomenal. Those are my thoughts so far. Logan, please share yours.
So I really liked this one. It was very good. All the things you were saying, spot on. I actually, when I first saw Thanos pop in, I did a double take and I started laughing, because he was like, I am thinking about, I could go back and commit mass genocide, but I don't think I will. I thought it was really funny how, especially in the very beginning, where the actor Dijon Huseman, is that how you pronounce it?
I think so, yeah. Dijman Hansu.
Yeah, I just have trouble saying his name. But like how he just idolized T'Challa and was, could I please work for you? Just begging and like told everyone, stop it. He wants it, he can have it, basically kind of thing. And I thought it was a very nice turn of events to see what was all like bad characters at once to kind of turn good. like to see the other side of it. I just thought it was funny as well.
Right, and T'Challa was the one to do it. Like, thank you,
100%.
thank you, Chadwick Boseman.
100% because I believe this is also his last work that he did.
Yes,
Yeah, his last work, and
unfortunately.
unfortunately, yeah. So like the scene it showed, like he was sitting there like, yeah, you can fight me, and just hey, gotta be faster, do this, do that. He was more of like a mentor for everybody if you look at it. Because what also threw me for a loop was when they sat there and him and Yondu meet. And it was one of those things where, oh, I've learned better from you, helping everybody out. And I was like, what? And I definitely liked it. It was a very nice change of pace.
Lilith.
I have mixed feelings about this episode.
What?
Overall,
With mixed feelings?
You mean mixed of good and good?
overall, I loved this episode.
Okay.
It was fantastic.
Don't play with
Everything
my
about
emotions like that.
Everything about this was a banger. The only thing I wish they did different is I wished this would have been the last or the first episode in the series.
That's fair.
Because I feel like it should have been last because I don't feel like when going through later to binge watch all of these in the future, seeing or hearing Boseman for the final time, I don't want that in the middle. That definitely should be like at the end because that's like the type of thing that you want some time to reflect after because he was such a phenomenal actor in the MCU. Unfortunately, I can't speak to his other roles because I still haven't gone out of my way to watch those yet.
Very well.
It's on my to-do list. I just haven't yet. I loved the little memorial that kind of played for him with the really downbeat music at the end.
Oh, like his sign off?
Yeah, the in memoriam.
Yeah.
I loved that they honored him like that. But everything else I loved.
Well, he might
But
show
back
back up. We don't know.
Yeah, he may have filmed something else.
Like in this series,
If-
like his character
yeah.
might show back up.
Yeah, I mean, if he's filmed or recorded anything else, Marvel, please give it. I want as much of what there is of him to make it to production. We as fans like have such parasocial relationships with actors that it's always especially hard to say goodbye to someone that you never really knew. And Black Panther was such a great character. And even outside of the character from the interviews I watched and everything, he was such a cool person.
He was an
I would've-
amazing person. Like apparently he
Yeah, I
had
would've-
this cancer like all the way back on Civil War and never once complained about it. And would
I never
always
once
go
knew.
do charitable events for like children who are like in hospitals and like have mortal illnesses. He was such a good human being.
I didn't even know he had
it's-
cancer until he died.
No one did. I think
it was a
that was his
secret.
goal.
Yeah.
But I do want to switch over to a lighter note because I don't want the sadness of that event to overshadow the rest of the episode. Because it was good. I liked the writing. I
Well,
loved the changes.
At
I
least
feel like
we
the
have something
changes-
to remember forever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think at the very least his movie will go down as a great piece to remember by. But that's a review all on its own. I don't want to touch on the casting too much here, but I do love how different this was from the first episode in the way that just by replacing Star-Lord from Peter Quill to T'Challa changed so much versus changing Captain America from Steve Rogers to Peggy Carter changed who Captain America was in the first Iron Man. And that was really it. But this, it seemed like those changes had like massive reaching changes. And I loved that. And just to touch on something that you said earlier about Benicio del Toro being attractive, he's no Jeffrey Wright, who was once again back as the voice of the Watcher. And can once again get my phone number anytime he wants.
Jeffrey Wright's in
but
this?
No
Yeah,
way.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you know? I called you and told you about it.
I mean, the entire show is established on the. I love Jeffrey Wright.
Beautiful voice.
Honestly, when does Jeffrey Wright get his own episode? Is really what I was thinking the whole time.
I want to know more about the Watcher.
Just a day in the life of the Watcher.
No, not the Watcher. I don't want the Watcher to have an episode. I want Jeffrey
Wright
to have an episode. Where
Just
he
like-
just voices everyone,
Oh,
and it's about him.
just having
Yeah.
breakfast,
Sweets.
like him waking up, like just a day in the life of Jeffrey Wright.
Just him talking to me gently.
Oh, specifically you.
Specifically me. Preferably me. Yeah.
That sounds like that's going to take some serious Disney money, which we don't have.
Yet.
yet.
But no, as far as plot goes, I did love everything. I loved Gamora's relationship and how that changed.
You mean
I
you mean Nebula?
Yeah, I do. Sorry. Whoops.
Whoops.
I do like how comedic Thanos kind of turned into. That was pretty fun. Other than that, the only other thing that I have to say about the plot is they made the Collector someone actually terrifying.
Absolutely.
Back- hop back in
That was
one-
interesting to watch.
One last thing before we move on to
Lance.
Lance. I loved how they brought Howard the Duck. I love how Howard the Duck, they kind of made him more of an important role. And like, I know he had his own movie, but most people nowadays have never seen it. But I like,
That's
He had
because
li-
it's terrible.
but I like how
And
like in
apparently
this-
now canon.
Yeah.
well, Howard the Duck was in Endgame for like 3 frames.
Don't be that guy.
But
Don't be that
I'm just
guy.
saying. But I'm glad that he actually had some sort of substance. And I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty interesting.
4 frames.
Oh boy.
DJ, spin it back.
Okay, enough Howard the Duck fan service over here. Okay, it's getting weird. Lance,
I
your
did like
thoughts
it.
on the plot?
Alrighty. Plot wise, like first couple minutes of the episode, you're kind of brought back to the first Guardians of the Galaxy when he's getting Power Gem
Power Stone.
Stone.
Gems are the comics.
I'm more of a comic book guy, but
Don't be that guy.
oh, I will.
Don't be that guy.
So they're going to get the Power Gem Stone, whatever you want to call it, and you're seeing him kind of interact, and I'm sitting here going, man, this guy, like if you've ever played Fallout and you have your little points that you put on your special attributes, like his charisma was like a freaking 12 out of 10. I'm
Right.
like, my gosh, like this guy could like convince me to do anything, and I have standards.
Rolling nat 20s.
Heck yeah. So yeah, it was kind of refreshing, like his relationship with Yondu. When I think of Michael Rooker's Yondu, I think of a hardened intergalactic space pirate. They kind of have a certain code to them, but they're not morally good characters as a whole. And when I see this version of him, it kind of took me back a little bit. I'm sitting here going, this is not Yondu. This is somebody else. And it was kind of nice to see it. I enjoyed his character. What they did with him. What do you call it? Black Panther as Star-Lord. There were parts where, he would say, a couple little one-liners, and, it was funny. It wasn't overly done. It wasn't like, hey, we're just here for, joke fest. Yeah, I mean, plot-wise, I thought it was decent. It was definitely better than the first What If episode. The first one was, yeah.
I agree. And to just reiterate on your joke thing, this one did not feel like forced Marvel jokes by any means. It all felt
was like-
natural, and I
In
like
the
that
right
a lot.
spots and everything.
Yeah. So, however, what this one does that is also just amazing compared to the first one. The voice acting in this one, I thought was check, check, check. Like, they got Chadwick Boseman, Michael Rooker, Josh Brolin. It sounded like Nebula. I can't tell. I did the one voice acting that I have to criticize in this overall would have to be the Collector, because that is not Benicio del Toro, and I personally could tell, and it would jarringly was like, whoa. But overall, his character was interesting enough to me. But other than that, they got some Disney bucks were flying on this episode. That's my thoughts on the voice acting. Lilith?
Benicio del Toro returning as the Collector was actually a highlight in the show for me. I'll give you a second to let that soak in.
I was just looking that up too.
Is that
I was like,
Benicio del Toro? Holy
It is.
crap.
it is.
And Karen Gillian is
Yeah.
playing Nebula.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Michael Rooker, Chadwick Boseman, Kurt Russell, Ophelia Lovabond. I don't recognize her name, but I do recognize her face, and I've seen her in things before. She's very good.
All right.
Karen Gillian is back as Nebula as well.
For some reason, he did not sound like him to me. I apologize.
Sean Gunn.
I will
Sullivan.
eat my words. I'm sorry.
Seth
I take it
Green.
back. The voice
As
acting.
Howard the Duck, yeah.
Voice acting is amazing in this one. I never said it. It's going to be edited out. Nobody has to know.
Someone
Almost
else
every-
did Drax though.
Yeah, almost every single one of these are returning characters.
Thank you. It
except
hurts.
for I think except for Drax, everybody
Mhm.
else reprised their old character. I don't know who voiced him. I can't see it on the website. We're not sponsored by.
Fred Tatasciore voiced Drax.
Yes.
But the voice acting, phenomenal. Because after all of the other people that I mentioned, Jeffrey Wright voices the Watcher.
And he's the first name on the list.
So once again, they have the best voice actor and the best actor overall and the most handsome man in Hollywood coming back and reprising his star role as the narrator of this franchise. I liked it. I don't think anybody had a misstep. Nobody sounded off to me. Even Drax, like if I really listen, I could tell that wasn't Dave Bautista, but it didn't sound too far off of Drax.
I'll be totally honest. Before looking up IMDb, if you would have told me that wasn't Drax, I would have said you're wrong. And if you would have told me that was Benicio del Toro, I would have said you're wrong.
That's okay. You know, they say that your ears stop being as accurate the older you get.
Wow.
You can attribute that to him being a daddy now,
Okay.
being old.
Once you get in your middle ages, things really start to just fall apart. But overall, I did love the voice acting. Even the characters that like I didn't have a voice to associate with the face, with the costume. I felt like they felt good. They felt natural. Nobody's voice lines felt forced. And the second I heard T'Challa, I almost cried. It was great. I love this.
It was really good to hear his voice again in something.
Absolutely. A round of applause for Jeffrey Wright.
Get the golf clap. Or the,
My mic won't pick up my clapping. Logan, did you also think the non-Benicio del Toro Collector was not Benicio del Toro?
honestly, I after hearing the first couple voices throughout, I thought they were all the same. I even thought Drax was played by someone else. I didn't think it was anyone else until we saw.
Okay, well, I just had so little faith going into this one after the first episode. I just thought they didn't get anybody back, and they were just gonna give us voice actors.
I thought it was a little bit weird how Drax looked. a little bit like, but they all of them look a little bit different. I mean, Nebula obviously, and Drax, it looked like he just had tattoos everywhere instead of actually all like the like cuts and everything, scars. Was I don't even know how you describe it.
They're not cuts. It's like part of
Like,
his skin.
yeah,
I thought it was a tattoo.
I don't know. Lance, your thoughts on the voice acting?
I thought they did a lot better job than the first episode. Other than like Drax, my first time watching it, I could tell something was a little off. I was kind of sitting here. Sorry about that. I was kind of sitting here like they got everybody else, but him. I always liked Drax in the Guardian series. So me not getting the actor to, do his voice for me, especially their voices, is always kind of off-putting. You're used to hearing something, you're like, it doesn't sound quite right. I don't know why they couldn't get some of them to do it, and why they could get some to do it. I don't know if they're just sick and they're like, yeah, I can't do it, or they're filming and doing something else. I'll be honest with you, I kind of wish you can find out about some of that information. I don't know if some of it would be just too private to share what, but a lot better than the first episode. First episode needed a lot of work, and they redeemed themselves a little bit. It is not, it's not B-rated quality. It's gone up a couple of rankings.
Couple rankings.
Yeah. Notches, rankings, whatever you want to call them. So
Notches. Yeah. So my thoughts on this episode, phenomenal. Yeah, I was hooked from the beginning to the very end. The fact that was Benicio del Toro makes it even better. Still sounded weird to me. But if I would have to, I love the characters. I loved how it was like a little heist. It was like a little heist story, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. This one actually felt distinct, like it had its own, subgenre into it compared to the first one, where it was literally just a rehash of Captain America: The First Avenger, except what if he was a woman? I would have to give this one right out the bat the fact that we got to see so many great returning characters, and especially somebody as like intimidating and such a big threat and main character like Thanos in this. My rating's going to have to be a 9 out of 10 for this episode alone. So 9.5, since that was Benicio del Toro. Lance?
I'm kind of right there with you. I'll give it a solid 9. Maybe a 9.5 just for Thanos. I mean, we all know I'm a huge Thanos fan. I mean, hardcore. I like what they did with, him as well in the series. So 9.5.
Logan?
I'm gonna be this guy. I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a straight up 10 just for the fact.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Yeah. Well, again, animation was really well. I liked how they captured a lot of, the facts from the original Guardians of the Galaxy and everything like that, and they hit a lot of those high notes with it, and all the returning main characters, even side characters, they did very well with it, and I think overall it was a service to this. And as Lily said, this should have been the first or last to open strongly with. Like, if like going back, I probably won't watch number 1 ever again. I'll start with 2.
How it should have went.
Yeah.
Lilith?
I'm still gonna give this a 9.5. If it wasn't animated, I would 100% be persuaded to give it a 10. If it wasn't animated and it was like a long form factor MCU movie with this plot, I would be hard pressed to not give it a 10. But when it comes to the animation, I still really don't like it. I don't think it looks good. So
I actually did like the animation in this one, especially all the space colors and all that stuff. So I'm getting more comfortable to like the Telltale animation look.
I still don't like it. It doesn't fit with me. I mean, it all comes down to like opinion and preference, and this just isn't for me.
I will say
Um,
it's not. It's very smooth and everything. There's like no like issues with
it
like.
just doesn't work for me. I think this episode was great. Don't get me wrong. A solid 9.5. If you're going to watch Marvel's What If, this is the episode to start on. Um,
Agree.
if you're rewatching the MCU and you just want to see a little bit more T'Challa, this is the episode for you.
Absolutely.
But
Number one is
outside of
right
that,
out.
yeah, casted amazingly. The writers tried this week. It's got me excited for what happens next week. But for now, 9.5.
So overall general consensus, fantastic. Marvel, keep this up and I will continue to watch this show. So, however, that is our review and discussion of Marvel's What If episode 2. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe and look out for our next video. I would say that's it. So,
last thought. Thank you, Chadwick Boseman, for playing as Black Panther. Not only for playing as Black Panther, but just being a great human being.
yes. Let's end it out with a thank you, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace. With that being said, goodbye, everybody. Have a great time, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Later.